Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Division 6, Round 1, Bahrain. It's a new season, new challenges await for these drivers ahead of us. We have a 15-car grid here today at Round 1 Bahrain. The lineup is as follows. We have a few reserves. We have Seabass, Ciaro, Xenon, Daswesu, Harmon, Elchocker, Brian B, Yoro, David, D. Luca, Alan, Marcus, Leo, Maze, Key, and Tukin Tolvana. As we have a few cars heading out on track. So let's see who's first out of the pits. We have an AlphaTauri of Elchocker. We'll follow him around here, so he's going on the mediums first. Strategy around here can be an easy, soft, hard. But obviously, drivers might opt to do something different. Now, Bahrain is a somewhat... I feel like some drivers find it easy and some do find it a bit tricky, especially the tight corners where it's easy to lock up the tyres. At the hairpin that Elchocker just passed, very easy to lock up tyres if you brake too late, if you turn in too early. Small details really matter. He's getting his tyres up to temperature. He's going to start his lap right now on the mediums. Oh, very squiggly exit, but he doesn't invalidate as he went out wide, so I guess that kind of saves his lap. Brake just at the 100-meter board, just before it. Takes turn on nice and clean. Got the cut out turn 2, turn 3 nice and on the curb. A bit squiggly on the exit there, but that's fine. Up to turn 4, nice on the curb. Braking a bit late, but he should be fine throughout this end of sector 1, starting sector 2. Nice clips the curb, both insides. Clips the outside curb as well. Could go a bit wider. Gets the apex very nicely. Gets a good run down towards the hairpin. Gets it very nicely. See if he can get a good exit. It looks like he does. Don't want to brake too late. Clipped the inside curb again. You ran out a bit wide because you don't want to hit the outside curb because it loses you time. Stay nice and tight. Drift out to the outside. Very nicely. Cutting, get on the power as early as you can. Does that very nicely. Keeps it within track limits. Wow. Good effort for him to keep it in track limits. Heading towards the last corner. Gets a much better exit at the end of his lap than the start of his lap. DRS wide open. He crosses the line. It's going to be a 27.5. Very competitive lap time on the mediums right there. I think we have an Aston Martin, maybe D. Luca. It was D. Luca. He went on the softs. He does a 27.5. Cannot beat Elchocker's medium time. We have a McLaren of Xenon coming around 28.0, and then Alan goes P1 with a 27.1. Great lap from him. We have Seabass on the mediums, invalidated. He might be trying to start again. Looks like he is. I think we have... Yes, this is Iki. 26.7. Wow, and then he gets beaten straight away by Daswesu with a 26.3. Another Alfa Romeo coming around. It was Leo. 26.984. So 3 people into the 26s. We have a Mercedes. Is it David? It is David. David, I think that lap was invalidated. We have an Alpine. It's not Harmon. It's Tolvana. Where does he go? P3. Let's go to Harmon. He's on the mediums. Let's see what he can do. He has a 27.7. AlphaTauri, that is Marcus. He goes P8 with the softs. So Elchocker right now, fastest man on the mediums. Very, very good lap from him. Very good lap from him. He's 1.2 seconds off the leader. If he falls outside of the top 10, I would assume he would go on softs and try Try to make something there. I think everybody's going to go back in the pits now. Unless Alan, I think Alan's on another lap. He's getting the slipstream. He was on another lap. He improves by 3.5 tenths. If people dive into the pits, I think Seabass, because he invalidated his last lap, he's going to go again. He's 2 tenths down on an ideal middle sector. Let's see what he gets on the mediums. He goes P11 with a 20.0. Maybe he'll go again, maybe he won't. We will find out. Another AlphaTauri, I think it was Leo going to the pits. Yes, it is. Harman is not on the lap. Tolvana is not on the lap. But we have a Mercedes right behind Harman. It's David. Looks like he's going to probably dive into the pits as well with him. Yeah. Marcus, he might dive into the pits. No, he's not. He's going to go out again. We'll stay on board with Marcus here. We'll stay on board. Braking just before they reach the board, yes. Good apex, could stay a bit closer, but it's fine. Nice cuts, turn 2. Could stay on the curb, turn 3, but that's fine. Because the car gets a bit shaky if you go on the curb there. Drifts out wide before turn 4. Again, clips apex quite nicely. Purple first sector, very nice and clean from him. Could break a bit later there, but seems like he's got this lap held together very nicely. Down towards the hairpin, lockups from him. As I said before, quite easy to lock up if you turn it a bit early or brake too late. I think Aston Martin has gone off. Maybe I think that is Di Luca. I wonder if he's retired, but Marcus sets a purple middle sector. Is he on here? We're going to check with Lucas, see what's happened. I think he just spun. Going back to Marcus. Purple middle sector from him. Can you keep it nice and tidy through this last corner? Now it's just a straight run down to the line. You go on the power nice and early. DRS wide open. Let's see what we can do here. There's a 27.4. I'm pretty sure he did improve. Yes, he did. He improved from P9, I believe, to P6. A very good improvement from him. With the Mercedes, is he on the lap? Don't believe he is. No. I think he will either be starting his lap now, or he will be diving into the pits. No, he's going out again. Okay. Alpine coming out right in front of him. Doesn't get in his way very nicely. Missed the apex a bit, broke too late. Cuts turn 2 nice. Big snap of oversteer from Mays. Did well to keep it on track there. I think we'll come back to Mays. Di Luca is on their lap. We'll stay with him. Of course, these are the tyres he just spun on the way in the gravel with, so it will be a bit hard for him. Took turn 4 nice and tidy, turn 5, 6, 7. Go on the power just at the right time. Bit hesitant it looked like through the hairpin. Could have been just me, but did look a bit hesitant through the hairpin. Dust West was improving. We'll stay with him. Nice and tidy it looks like. Great run down to the end of sector 2. He's up by almost 3 tenths. 9 thousandths off, up by 3 tenths. We'll fall into the line. Gets inside curb very nicely. Not too much, not too little. DRS wide open. He's going to come to the line, and he does a 26.041. He improves by 0.3 of a second. We have an AlphaTauri coming towards the line now. Could be El Choco. He is El Choco. He's improved by 1 second, and he does a 26.3. Goes P2. We have Seabass. No, he is on his outlap. He's starting now. We have a Williams. Let's see who it is. I think it's Iki. He's improved by 1/10, but he's decided to back out. Maybe made a mistake. I think that's Tolovano on the lap. He's improved by 0.3. That will put him P3. It does put him P3 with a 26.6. Mercedes behind him. Looks like that was Euro David. Unfortunately, we just missed that, but he moves into P3 ahead of Tolovano. A Ferrari of Brian B on his outlap. He's going to start his lap now. We'll go to Harman. I believe he's on the lap. Let's see his middle sector. He's up by 1.2 seconds. This is going to give him a 26.5 at this moment. This will put him in P4, but he already has one corner to go. Let's see if he can improve even more and claim that top spot. Locks up a bit hesitant. Very solid effort. I know Harman is with that racing without a line, so a very good effort from him. There's a Red Bull Dust West. I think he's going to the pits. There's Aston Martin behind him. Di Luca also going diving into the pits, getting ready for their last runs. Seabass, I think he's coming to the end of his flying lap. Goes P6, improved by 1.3 seconds. Who's this? This is El Choco. I think he's diving into the pits as well. Yep. Torovano will be diving to the pits. Yes. Same with David. Yes. Fire on a lap. Let's see his middle sector. Don't think he set a valid lap yet, so unfortunately we have no banker to go for, but I think that was a high 0.4, 0.5 for a middle sector, so very, very good. So this will put him in, maybe into the top 10. It does, it puts in P5, great lap from him. Is it Alan on a lap? No, I think it's his teammate, Tarlio. He was improving by half-tenths, but it looks like he's invalidated. So we'll stay on board with Alan here. Unfortunately, he is backed off. Maybe he is wanting to go for another lap. No, he is going into the pits. Seabass was probably diving to the pits. Yep, definitely. McLaren on their outlap. Xenon, currently P14 with 27.6. Yep. He will be starting his final lap shortly. Everybody else, you're only a few cars out on track at the moment. Everybody else getting ready for their final run, waiting for track evolution to kick in so they can get those couple tenths right at the last minute. Let's see if Das Wessel will get into the 25s. I think he will, because track evolution plus drivers may not be able to get their representative TT time, so I believe that all of them can go a few tenths quicker, just because of the nerves of qualifying may throw some drivers off. But as you see, Xenon preparing his exit, getting a nice good run. He opens DRS, he's starting his lap now. There's Alfa Romeo coming right out on track in front of him. This is not good for Xenon because it's going to give him so much dirty air. This is not great for him. Alfa Romeo goes out the way. Or gets out of the way a bit late. But yeah, I'm not sure Xenon will be too happy with that one. Yeah, he is down by half a tenth and he had dirty air, so I believe he would have improved maybe by a bit if that Alfa Romeo wasn't in front of him. Goes wide of the hairpin. It's important not to get on that curb and the exit because it loses you traction. Careful into this corner. Don't want to turn too late, don't want to turn in too early, but he turns in a bit too early and loses out on traction. Doesn't seem like a great lap for Xenon. Yep, and he's backed out. Unfortunate for him. Yeah, he lets the Alfa Romeo go. So I'm very unfortunate for him. Let's see who's out on track. I'm staying on board with Talio as he looks like he's the... No, I do believe it's Maze who's the first one out on track, but... And he's lost the car. Very unfortunate. That's twice now we've seen him had massive oversteer. Maybe just not feeling happy with the balance of his car at the moment. Very unfortunate for him. Riding on board now with Tar Leo. I think behind him he does have Xenon going for another lap. Maybe there might not be enough space, but we'll see. Following Tar Leo. Stays in turn 3, nice and tidy. Up to turn 4 now. Could go a bit wider. Misses the apex. Maybe broke too late, turning too late. He's 1.5 tenths up on his time. Goes a bit wide again at the hairpin. He has another hairpin coming up. See if he can nail this one. Turns in a bit too early, maybe, I think. Looks like he's got it fine, but then he's lost out on traction. It destroys the marker board. As a result, retires. He's not happy. He's not happy at all. Xenon looks like he was 1.5 tenths down. Sector 1. Just out wide. That might be an invalidation. No, it isn't. Ooh, the car's out on track at this moment. Doesn't look like Xenon will be able to pull one out of the bag, unless I'm completely wrong. Unfortunately, he stays P14, unless he can do another lap to improve greatly. I think Dust Wessel is starting his lap now, as Maze also retires from the session. El Choca sets a purple first sector, improving by 1/10. I want to stay on board with him, but we will need to see if anybody else is out on a lap right now. Marcus starting his lap. David, I think David's going to come across the line. He goes P2. Unfortunately, we didn't catch that, but he did improve by 1/10. Overtakes El Choca on the grid. We'll ride on board with El Choca now. Let's see if we can take that P2 back from Euro David, or we can make it to P1. He's improving by 2.5 tenths. This would put him just out of reach of P1, but let's see what we can do coming to the final corner now. Nice and wide. Open up the corners as much as possible. Needs to get a good exit here. Looks like that was. Opens the DRS, he comes across the line. It's pole position. Provisional pole position. He does a 25.9. The first person into the 25s. Who is up next? It looks like it's Tolvana, who's also improving by 1.5 tenths. Behind him we have Dust Wessel. This should put Tolvana P5. Don't think it'll be enough for P4. Yes, it does. We'll go on board with Dust Wessel. He's by 2 tenths. This will put him at 25.8. It is a 25.8 from him. Great lap from him. Di Luca. He improves, but not by a lot. We have Alan coming across the line. He improves P7 for him. Harmon P3. Unfortunately, we didn't catch that as well. Or I didn't catch that. Marcus, I think he's up now. He's invalidated. He's not doing any more. Gizachi comes across the line. What can he do? Goes P6 right at the last moment. P6. Great one from him. And it's just David. Maybe it's Seabass as well. He's improving by close to 0.5 tenth. Let's see what we can do. Unfortunately, just improves by 9 thousandths, so that doesn't move him up a spot. And that is qualifying complete. As we can see, Dust Wessel's pole lap. It was a 27.6 for the first sector. Unfortunately, it just went off as I tried to read it. But yes, our pole man for the first round of the season in Bahrain, showing his dominance by getting pole position from El Choca by over a tenth. Here's our grid for the race. We have Das Wessel P1, El Choca P2, Harman P3, Yura David P4, Iki 3, P5, Kiyosachi P6, Tolkien Tolvana P7, Brian B P8, Alan Liam P9, Seabass P10, Mays P11, D Luca P12, P13, Leo Marcus in P14, and Xenon, unfortunately, is P15, so he's starting at the back of the grid. Obviously, those people at the back do have that, the bottom five drivers do have free choice of starting on whatever tire they would like. They could start on fresh softs, fresh mediums, or fresh hards. As we get the formation lap about to start, there we go. Das Wessel off the line. Ochoca following close behind him. Let's go through the top 10 again. Das Wessel, Ochoca, Harman P3. Great lap as I mentioned before previously. He did switch to no line. So great performance by him. We have David in P4, Iki 3 in P5, Kiyosachi, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Kiyosachi in P6, Tukin Tolvana in P7, Brian B in P8, Alan Liam P9, and Seabass P10. That's the top 10. Let's look at the detail. I want to see what tires. So Marcus going for somewhat of an aggressive start compared to the people around him. Considering he's only one outside of the top 10 opting for the softs. Maybe he believes he can get past the medium runners that quickly. He needs to if he wants to have a good chance of overtaking them and staying ahead. Otherwise he'll be stuck behind them, and then the medium runners will eventually overtake him, being on the fresher tires towards the end of the race. We got Das Wessel lining up on the grid right now. A few seconds ahead of El Choca, but that should be fine. Got the grid all lining up. Everybody looks to be in their positions. We want to get the front camera angle here. We don't want to be looking at the back. Let's see, here we go. We have 5 lights. And they're out, and away we go. It looks like Das Wessel got the better of the start. Harman looks like he got the jump on El Choca. El Choca falling down the positions. He's in P4 at the moment. Can he go down the inside of David? Oh, there's a big crash. That AlphaTauri broke very late. He does have front wing damage. That was very, very bad. Well, Das was in the lead by 1.4 seconds. El Choco in P3 did lose out. He was P2. Seabass up 4 positions. Wow. And unfortunately for David, he did get absolutely crumbled by a car going off track and coming right down the inside. It's not something you want to see, but for other drivers, they have a whole race ahead of them. No safety car, surprisingly. That's what extended that lead to 1.5 seconds. Can Harman close that gap a bit? 1.6, 1.7. Doesn't look like it. It looks like he's under pressure from El Choco, who wants to quickly regain that P2 position. I think that was Tolkien Tolvani. He might have spun. Seabass, I think he did spin as well. Something's happened with Xenon. I think he rejoined the session after crashing, or as in his game crashed. But El Choco does go down the inside, I believe, of Harman. Probably left the door wide open, not really thinking to fight this early on in the race, maybe just using El Choco to close the gap to Das Wessel. El Choco going really off track. The high fuel's not easy to keep on track, but they do need to do it, otherwise they will collect warnings throughout the race. The less warnings, the better. Das Wessel with a clear lead now. With a clear lead. All he has to do is maintain. I think that was Harman who just went out wide. He smashes the DHL board as it flings onto the track. Ochoco almost loses the car. Good save. Das was still extending that gap to 2.2 seconds now, almost 2.3. He's really going for it. Seabass, he spun it again. I think pretty much in the same place, but there's also AlphaTauri right behind him who did spin. Maybe they had some contact. Unfortunate for Alan, but he does have 4 cars right behind him, also in the mix-up, probably with damage. Let's go back to the front runners. So it looks like the top 5 are a bit away from the rest of the field. Very far away. The front runners are pretty a bit closer to the AlphaTauri, just ending sector 2 now. Can Iki get back in that 1 second? Because he needs to, otherwise the rest of the group are going to pull away. It is lap 3, so they do have DRS now. Let's see the gap they pull on Iki. I think they'll pull a big gap, but it looks like Talio is retired. Do you think he spun and hit the wall? That's a virtual safety car. Can we go to Seabass? Can we see what the problem is? Yes, he did hit the wall. And I believe that is a broken wheel on his car. Unfortunate retirement for him. Trucker then diving into the pits. He's using this as opportunity to go into the pits, maybe before fresh mediums. I don't think he will go to the end. Seabass gets a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. But El Trucker, I believe this is a committed 2-stop. I don't think he can go to the end. He probably will make it to the end, but will be in punctured territory. And his tires will be completely worn off. Well, virtual safety car is gone, and Harman has a 2.5 second gap to the Das Wessel. It looks like he lost out a bit because Ultraker did pit and he had to adhere to the Delta. Brian B right on his tail. Same with Iki. I think Iki's made it back into DRS. Good. This is good for his race hopes. Brian B up 5 positions, so he started P8. So a good climb for him in the first 4 opening laps of this race. Still a long race to go. 25 laps remaining. Anything can happen. I think those at the back maybe should just try and keep their head up and hope for the best. And the Y Maze did pit, but I think that's his ghost. He might have lagged out or something. Maybe he got front wing damage or something, but it looks like Harman has gone a bit wide. Coming at the exit, this might give Brian B a good run to use DRS. He's using overtake. I don't know if he's going for it. Doesn't look like he is. Will he send one? No, he won't. Thinks better of it. Turn 4 is a very hard section of the track to send it on. And Das Wessel is just cruising. However, he's on about 40% ERS. He was right behind Iki. Has he fallen out of DRS again? I think he has. He's on no ERS though, so it's not like he can use anything to get back. He just needs to do it on raw pace. Brian B closing in on Harman. He did put Harman under a bit of pressure there. Harman had to go defensive, but he does go down the inside now with DRS, cuts back to the racing line and takes P2 ahead of Harman. I think that's D Luca who's spun and gone into the gravel. Very unfortunate for him, but not sure why he's driving straight instead of going right onto the track. He stayed in the gravel, but let's go back to the front. Yep, Torvano overtakes Seabass quite easily. Can Seabass do anything to get that position back? He will have DRS now, but he would have to use a lot of overtake to get alongside him before turn 4. Won't have the opportunity, no. But Harman is right on the tail of Brian B. 3/10. I think they need to work together here to catch Das Wessel because he's just pulling away from them. I think Harman does want that P2 back. He will have it quite easily with DRS. And look, you can already see a blister on Harman's front left tire. So his front left is not looking too good at all. Harman has closed the gap down to 2.5. It was 2.8 at one point, I believe. Just doing his best to close that gap as much as possible. Won't be easy. Das Wessel's not he is on pace, even from last season. His tires are also starting to blister. Same as Harman. The tires look exactly the same. Brian B's tires look possibly, I feel like they look in a better condition. Same with Iki's. Could be the effects of locking up, as we know. Locking up does wear your tires a bit more. Will Brian B be able to make a move into turn 4? He has DRS. I wonder if he's using overtake. We're not going to look, as it would be a disadvantage to other drivers if we do look. If no, they're in a race engineer and driver party. Brian B will have another opportunity here. I think he wants to take it, but his DRS is active. It looks like he's backed out of it because he wants to go for the move on the main straight, it looks like. If I'm not mistaken, also the pit window has opened. So maybe in one lap's time it will be the perfect time to go for the hard tires. Mediums can make it to the end where they drop off super aggressively in the last few laps of the race, maybe the last 4 or 5 laps of the race. I think Harman is diving to the pits. He is diving to the pits. Let's ride on board with him. Let's see what tires he picks. Lap 9, I would assume he picks the hard tires, but I could be mistaken. It looks like it's the mediums. He is picking for the mediums. A bit slow away. Iki also pits with Harman. And Harman is away. I think he'll get out in P5, it looks like. Who was that passed him? No, I think he'll get out in P4. Don't think Luca will be ahead of him. No, he won't. Brian B now has to put his foot down, same with Dust Wessel, because the undercut could be coming from Harman. So Dust Wessel does have the time to just react. Doesn't need to stay out any longer if he doesn't want to. He has the time to react to Harman's pit stop. But Brian B, if he does pull some pace out of the bike, he could get severely undercut by Harman. We'll see if Brian or Dust Wessel go with Dust Wessel. No, he's not pitting. He's going up for an extra lap. Let's see Brian. Brian is also staying out. Harman passes the ghost car of Maze, I believe, who is in last position. As Harman goes out wide there. I think Xenon is right on the tail of Iki, but he has no ERS. Iki, however, does have a bit. We'll see if Xenon can make the move. It defends super aggressively. He's breaking the slipstream. He doesn't want Xenon to get any type of run on him into turn 1. Xenon looks down the inside, but he's too far back and he knows it. He's a bit late. If he does get a good run, he could maybe challenge for P6. Definitely he's catching the and the Dust Wessel is pulling that gap on Brian B, so maybe Brian B was using Harman to pull him along, string him along a bit, because Dust Wessel looks like he's not struggling at all. Looks like he's just racing his own race. Does he pit now? He does pit now. Let's see what tires he goes on. I would probably expect mediums as well, considering Harman went on mediums end of lap 8, I believe, start lap 9. Yeah, it is mediums. Brian B also boxes into the pits. It looks like mediums as well. No, it's the hard tires. He's going on the hards. From what I do know, the hards do work well at the end of the race. Harmon is coming across. Will he be able to have done the undercut on both of them? He's going to come out right behind Das Wessel. He's pulled about a 2.5 second undercut on Das Wessel, or 2.2 undercut. He's right behind Das Wessel. Das Wessel does have a lot more ERS than Harmon. Harmon's not going to be able to do anything, but now he's much closer to Das Wessel than he was before. El Choca is still out. Remember, he pitted under the VSC. Maybe this was a good move. Maybe when Das Wessel and Harmon's tires drop off, El Choca will dive into the pits for softs and catch them at the end. But softs again also do drop off very aggressively. So he would have to catch them, but also not take too much life out of his tires. Looks like Harmon is maybe struggling a bit to keep up with Das Wessel. He is struggling. And you see, Brian B's lost out so much time because he didn't pit. He didn't react to Harmon. He's lost out so much time. It's unfortunate for him, but he could come back at the end of the hards, but only in the last few remaining laps. I think Harmon did fall out. He did fall out of DRS of Das Wessel. Maybe he's back in it right now, but we will have to wait and see if he activates DRS here. He does activate. He is in DRS range. As a 3 second time penalties go out, I think El Choca does have a 3 second time penalty as well. He does. Let's quickly cut away from the action and quickly check the race director. Hold on. We have Kizachi behind Xenon. He's right behind him. Xenon goes quite deep. Maybe that was a ploy to let him through, but this gives Kizachi a very good run on Xenon on the hards. He has no ERS remaining. Same with Kizachi, but Kizachi does have DRS. He tries to go around the outside. Can he make it stick? It looks like the mediums have grip, much better grip, but no. Xenon stays in front into turn 6. Turn 7, he has the inside line. We can't make anything work. Will he dive down the inside? No, he won't. Xenon again goes a bit deep. This allows Kizachi to get a much better run than him. He will have DRS for after the hairpin. I think somebody has crashed. I think that is Marcus. He didn't crash though. I think he looks like he just spun, but Kizachi could go for the move here. Looks like he will go for the move. I'm not sure if he moved there. If he did move, that was a pretty late defense. But Xenon round outside, he spun, and he is spun, and I think he has hit his front wing, but I don't think that he has any damage. I think it was a very light tap. Unfortunate for Xenon because he was driving quite a good race from P15 on the grid. But back to the front, it looks like Das Wessel has pulled a 1.5 second gap to Harmon. And Brian B is still losing out. Lost about a second or more, a second and more to Harmon. But now we see Iki right behind Brian B. I think he might just be in DRS detection, but what's happened to Xenon? Xenon's retired into the pits. Unfortunately, that's not what we want to see, considering he didn't crash. He didn't crash out of the race, but sometimes emotions get the better of us. Oh, Iki is staying within DRS range, but it looks like Seabass has retired. He's retired on track. And what's happened to him? Unfortunately, we're probably not going to know this prime time for El Choca. He's taking this opportunity to dive into the pits. What tire will he go on? I wonder if he can get out in front of the Ferrari. He's going with the mediums again, so he's definitely going to the end. It's only 15 laps compared to everybody else who's probably going for 20 laps on the mediums. Virtual safety car, my apologies, virtual safety car. Seabass left the session. He's gone. Fortunate for him. So Ochoka, he's not quite far away from the leaders, but he could make it back. So the virtual safety car has ended. And the Iki is still right behind Brian B. DRS has not been disabled because it was just a virtual safety car, so I think he should get DRS here. He does. Bit squirmy on traction. Wonder why he's weaving, maybe trying to get temperatures because he wasn't using his tires during the VSC. Now he's right on the back of Brian B. Maybe he could look for a move down to on the main straight, but wow, Brian B does have so much more ERS than Iki. So maybe he's just playing the long game. He knows he has the hard tires. He's about 9 seconds back from the leaders. Is Iki gonna go down the inside? He does. He breaks down a bit later than Brian B, but Brian B does get the sort of switchback on him, but obviously those hards are not going to be as grippy, and he does get a penalty as a result of being less grippy. Iki weaves to not give a slipstream. Brian's still on the back of Iki. He's looking to stay with Iki. Maybe Iki can drag him along to the end of his stint, and Brian can get back past him for the podium position. Iki weaving, he doesn't want to give any hope to Brian B, and Ochoka is the first lap of the race. He's only 3.6 seconds back from Brian B. I think he's going to close in rapidly through these stages. These last stages of this race, again we see Iki weaving to not give Brian B any down the straight after turn 3 into turn 4. Ochoka did close in about 5 tenths. I think that was Tuki and Tolvana going past Di Luca. Di Luca won that spot back, but let's stay with P4 and P5 and P4 and P5, not P6. Those three guys, as it looks like that's going to be a battle till the end of the race. Looks like Duswesu probably has this one in the bag. Only 13 laps remaining, and he has a 4.3 second gap to Harman. Iki certainly doesn't look like he's going any quicker to catch Harman by the end of the race. Like I said, Brian B's hards are only going to get faster until the end of the race, so it's going to put Iki under some pressure. Ochoka only 2.6 seconds back from Brian B. You can see them in front of him. He knows he wants to catch them. He wants that P3 spot after definitely not ideal start from him. when he started P2 in this race. He definitely wants a podium position. He qualified at 25.9. He definitely wants to match his quali pace with his race pace. Just needs to keep closing that gap slowly and surely, because he will have the pressure tires out of both of the guys ahead of him. And I don't believe his softs or his mediums, his mediums will drop off as quickly because they are that much newer. I think that was Alan who's DNF'd just at the start of Sector 2. Believe I know what he did, but let's see if we can see from Marcus's POV. And he has crashed and has brought out the safety car. This brings El Choco straight away into contention. But I don't think this... Obviously it's not ideal for Dust Wessel to be behind the safety car, but this doesn't affect him too much, I would say. Too much, because if he could pull the same gap he did, or close to it, if he just gets out of DRS quickly, he should be fine. He could take this opportunity to pit for new softs, which would not be a bad idea at all. Because I do believe that the people behind him would pit as well. He would probably only come out in P5, and then the new softs he would just overtake them very, very easily and quickly. So I don't think it would be a bad idea to pit for some soft tires. Let's see if he does pit. He does box, and it's a no-brainer. He's definitely going for the softs. 10 laps to go. But am I completely wrong? I am completely wrong. Once again, he's going for the mediums. Personally, I wouldn't say that is the correct decision, because mediums can 100% go for 20 laps. He's only going for 10. We see the soft tires being put on for Harmon. And I do believe Iki, I think he has a soft tire selected. He does. El Choco, I think he's in the pits as well, going for softs. Yes, look, Brian also going for softs. Thus, Wessel is the only man, apart from him, Token, Tolvana, and those who haven't pitted, to go for the mediums. I think this was the wrong call from him. But let's see what we can do, because he did pull out a plus 5 second gap from Harmon on the same set of tires, so maybe he could pull the same gap, just not as quickly. But we will see when the safety car comes in this lap. Or not this lap, maybe next lap, I believe. Next lap. As we wait now just for the safety car to go in, and then we can get back to racing. As I said before, that's what they pit for the mediums opted for the mediums instead of the soft. Same with Tolkien Tolvana, which I believe is the wrong decision. Softs are no brainer. Safety car will be out for a few laps. Easy to warm up, faster. Everything works for the softs at this stage in the race. I think Dustwhistle might have just thrown away the win here. We'll see if he has the pace. I could be wrong, as I have been for most of this race regarding pit stops. I think safety car could be in this lap. There we go. Race control. Safety car in this lap. We'll have around 8 laps of racing to go after the safety car comes in. One of the tires very aggressively. Severe collision. We'll stay with Harmon. I think Dustwhistle might go a bit wide here and get a good exit. No, he goes now, it looks like. But Harmon was ready. It doesn't look like Iki was ready for it. Brian B right on the back of him. Harmon, I think he's a bit too far away, but we'll stay on board with Brian B. Will he go down the inside here? Will El Choco try to take them both? He's going down the inside, but Brian B gets squeezed. El Choco, does he grab it? No, Iki goes into El Choco. And he spins out, unfortunately. El Choco manages to keep it on track. So unfortunate for Iki. Dust was out in front. We'll stay on board with Harmon. We'll see if Harmon can do anything here. Harmon coming down towards the hairpin here. DRS won't be enabled for another 3 laps or 2 laps, it looks like. Well, definitely won't be enabled because of the safety car. So maybe he might just stick behind and wait for DRS for an easy pass, not have to use too much overtake. I think Dustwhistle just needs to pray that the softs drop off somehow very quickly. Harmon tried to put Dustwhistle under a bit of pressure. He gets a nice switchback, he gets a much better exit. Coming out of turn 3, he uses overtake. He's putting Dustwhistle under a lot of pressure. He switches back to the outside, goes down the inside. Very late move. Does he make it stick? Doesn't look like he does. It looks like he broke a bit too early. Dustwhistle got the switchback. Iki's retired into the pits. Unfortunate. Maybe he could have stuck it out and gone, just stayed in the points. But again, Harmon goes down the inside, giving Dustwhistle the better run. But the softs have that much better traction than the mediums. That it's just impossible for Dustwhistle to get that much better traction. Wonder if Dustwhistle can maybe fight this back. But El Choco is now there. They battle so much that El Choco is now right behind them. 2/10 behind Das Wessel. Das Wessel looks like he's thrown this away completely. Very unfortunate to see Das Wessel lose that lead like that. Harman breaking the slipstream, giving Ochoca a great advantage because Das Wessel does not have a slipstream. Harman then gives Das Wessel back the slipstream, but Ochoca goes down the inside again on Das Wessel. Das Wessel's not liking this at all. He's just getting past left, right, and center. Brian is now right behind him at 4/10. Das Wessel doesn't look like he'll be able to fight this one back. Looks like it's just going to be a battle for the win with Ochoca and Harman. Looks like they'll pull away a bit from Das Wessel, but Brian B is looking to make a move on Das Wessel. Like, soft just have so much more grip. It's unbelievable. But that is the reality. That Das Wessel may not be willing to accept, but has to. 8/10 back from Ochoca. They're pulling and pulling away. If they get out of DRS, he will be a sitting duck. But it doesn't look like they will, unless Das Wessel does a huge mistake. Let's ride on board with let's follow Ochoca as he closes the gap to Harman. Might be close enough this time around to go for a move. Looks like he will be going for a move. Harman goes defensive. Ochoca moves to the outside. Is he already ahead before the corner? He is already ahead. But I think Harman will have it DRS for the straight up to turn 4. He won't be close enough to make a move. It looks like Harman is struggling. Brian B unable to get past Das Wessel. But I just remembered that Ochoca does have a penalty. He needs to escape 3 seconds in 5 laps. In order to win this race, he needs to escape 3 seconds. I think Das Wessel has fallen out of DRS. Unless he can get back in, he will, like I said, be a sitting duck for Brian B. Looks like he's going to use ERS here. Harman is not going to use ERS. You can see that Ochoca is recharging actually. Now he'll just use DRS to close up by the end of the straight. Doesn't look like again he'll be close enough to make a move, but Brian is all over the back of Das Wessel, sticking at 3/10. Brian B still behind Das Wessel. Does he have the ERS? No, he doesn't. So he's going to be out. He's going to be losing a heap of time to the front runners. Still out of a second. He needs to be able to get back in if he's going to survive from Brian B. But Brian B does have a penalty as well, so it's not race critical, but he wants to stay with the front runners so that he can take advantage of Ochoca's penalty. Harman now using DRS to close the gap to Ochoca. think Carmen might just be thinking, I'll just stay in P2 here. I'll just take P1 off of penalties. Smart, doesn't give any risk to maybe pushing himself, getting himself a penalty, or fighting too much and getting damaged and losing out on the win. Optimum choice. Let's look at the position change. So D Luca up 6 positions. He was 12th. Brian B was 8th. We come up to the we're about 3 more laps of racing. Well, 2.5 laps of racing. Dustus was losing out massively. Let's look at the gap to leader. Gap to leader is 2.8. At this point, he won't take. If he loses about 2 more tenths, he won't take effect into El Choca's penalty, and El Choca will finish P2. And Harman has managed to just stay in the DRS range of El Choca, so he will just close the gap now. Back up again and get DRS again. Look at this battle. So I think Brian B, unfortunately I missed that because I was trying to look at the front runners. Maybe Harman could close the gap better, but Brian B looks like he did get past, but then Dos Passos got DRS again and got past him back. So D Luca right on the back of Torvana. Doesn't look like he's gonna make a move. Now at this point the gap is well over 3 seconds. Yep, 3.4 seconds from Dos Passos to the leader. So right now he would finish P3. He would not finish in the top 2. Which is unfortunate for him. That mistake in the pits of going for the mediums instead of the softs cost him dearly, because I do think he would have kept the lead and pulled the gap. We come over to 2 laps of racing now. Still a truck recharging years. They are pushing like crazy right now. Getting DRS even though he was out of a second. Messed up in the corner, we'll just gain it all back because of DRS. It looks like it's inevitable. Dos Passos will finish P3 unless El Choca makes a massive mistake. Coming up to end at lap 28. But to start the final lap of this race, Harman in P2, he is net P1 at the moment. All he has to do is stay within 3 seconds of El Choca and he's got P1. Right now El Choca would finish P2, fortunately after a great comeback. Brian B does get past again, but then Dos Passos re-overtakes him. And Dos Passos does gets DRS again. It looks like Brian B can't make that move stick, unfortunately. Like I said, Harvard is probably just chilling and relaxing behind El Trucker. Just gonna take the win up penalties. He doesn't need to do anything more. Yeah, we can see the tires are starting to drop off. They're blistering. They went the perfect amount of laps they needed. Yep, Harman has fallen out of the. He's done his job. Looks like it's going to be El Trucker to cross the line first. But he won't be the one to win it. It will be Harman who wins it. Thus, Vessel will round out the top 3. Bahrain being P4. And then Kiyosachi in P5. Di Luca. Tukin. Tolvana. Marcus. And Mays. But I think Mays did the session quite early. Unfortunately for Marcus, he also made a mistake. But it's Harman who comes out on top from penalties. He was not the strongest all race, but he did what he needed to do. He got the job done, and that's all you could ask of yourself. Let's go over the drivers' finishing positions once more. We have Harman in P1, starting third in the grid. El Trucker takes P2 and the fastest lap, does it with 3 stops. Very good race from him with an unfortunate start. Thus Vessel loses out the most because he was up for grabs for the 25 points. Unfortunately, has to sell for 15 here. Brian B side P8, respectable P4 finish. Well done to him. Kiyosachi, Di Luca, Token Tolvana, Marcus Leone, Mays, Iki, Alan, Seabass, Xenon, Tadio, Yura, David unfortunately crashed out at the start of the race. Very unfortunate for him. But we will see you next week for round 2 of Division 6. Thank you for watching.